the favorite Trackstarz.
List that we got. Okay. Last year, our list, Lecrae was #1 last year.
Yes.
And I mean, Lecrae had a great year. Actually, had a better year this year too.
Yeah.
So you know, that's something to look for. But we're gonna talk about it, and here's the requirements and stuff. So, popularity, meaning that the people that know this MC in this genre. Remember, not somebody you consider hot in your crew, at your church. You know the dude that comes up and rap during praise and worship. Like, yo, he spitting hot. Nah, nobody know that dude. He probably gonna be hot a few years, but until then, yeah. When you mention their name, people like, I heard of him or her before. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. Another thing is impact for the genre, meaning that they're doing things to make our genre be known to the world, like charting on charts, outreach, other things that is helping Jesus get noticed and Christian hip hop get noticed as well. The last criteria, wrecking the mic, man, self-explanatory. Do they hit that fire? Do they spitting that fire? You know what I'm saying? So, are they good at what they do? So, okay, so right now we're about to go down a list of people, and you know, we're gonna talk
How many
about
are on
them.
our list?
We got a lot. I didn't count them out right now. So we're gonna name them. D-M.A.U.B nominee. Jen is a nominee. Of course, Lecrae, Pro, Tedashii. All three of them, Lecrae, Pro, and Tedashii. Even D-M.A.U.B and Jen all came out with projects last year.
Okay.
Andy Manu came out with a good mixtape. People say Andy Manu is that dude that he just signed with Reach Records. He signed with Reach Records last year. Came out with a good mixtape. The people say he kind of resembles Drake, like sounds Drake-ish. And we'll see that later on. Okay, KB also put out a good mixtape last year. She was real good. Tripoli was a little silent last year. He had like a single he did, like when we went to their tour. He had that Brag on My Lord where y'all say he dissed me and all like that. But you know, I mean, he was a little silent. I think he was working on some stuff last year. He was trying to do like an internship or something. But he's on the list. Suzy Rock. I keep telling y'all, Suzy Rock is that go-to girl right now for the big cats in Christian rap music right now. So, The Truth came out with an album last year, so he's on the list. The Ambassador came back out, so he's on the list. Cat named Swoope. Swoope was killing last year, man. Swoope has been real big for us.
Okay.
Bizzle came out with an album.
Yeah, I got that.
Came out with some other stuff too. His deal about the Illuminati and Jay-Z, and he heard No Church in a While. Came out with a record of like a diss record, but a truth record, I call it. Viktory came out with an album. Actually, Viktory was nominated for a Stella that, like we said earlier, that Lecrae ended up winning, but he was nominated as well. Sevin, good MC. Braille, Mouthpiece. I'm sorry, I was
Mouthpiece.
Mouthpiece.
It was good.
So
in line for line with him.
Yeah. So Mouthpiece dropped like 3 albums last year. Like free album, No Great Lines, and he had another one called Bass. That's real good. So Mouthpiece, yeah. Double dropped the album. Thi'sl dropped a good album actually. Thi'sl dropped this album called Beautiful Monster that was real good. It was a real good album. He did a song called My Radio's on Drugs. That was crazy. Canon. People don't know. If you don't know about Canon, Canon is dope. Have you heard of Canon? Y'all heard of Canon?
Yeah.
Canon is dope. Rap fast, everything like that. We got a line for line coming up with him soon too. Brother Tone, Shaolin came back out with a new album. T.R.U.T.H came out with he came out with a nice mixtape last year. It was hosted by DJ Wu Kid, the dude who used to be in G Unit that 50 Cent recently smacked or something. I read it. He kicked him out. I don't know if it's true. Yavs, the Street Pastor, came out with some good stuff. Jita, I've heard some of his music is real good, but also he does good production too. He did something for Viktory recently that was hot. R. Swift came out with something. Brinson came out with something. Actually, Brinson was got on ESPN with the T-Bone thing late last year. This cat named Esso came out with a good album. Flame came out with a good album. B. Wrath came out with an album last year. Cambino, he was on a few joints. He stood out. Apple Jacks. and a cat named Humble Tip came out with a good mixtape. So that's all our nominees.
What about the PKs? They came out with something last year.
Remember, we doing solo artists.
No, they could be artists on a group.
Like which one?
I don't know.
Which
That's
one?
interesting. We never talked about that.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I remember one year we did grits, and you was like, you got to pick one. So
Yeah.
pick one.
I don't know. Each one individually. I don't know. Maybe people don't know about it. I'm just saying, like, what about people in groups like that?
Well, you have to pick one. That's what I'm saying. You have to pick somebody from the group.
Okay.
So pick one.
I don't know. I don't think. I don't think.
How you gonna name people?
I don't
Now
think
we
people
did
know
groups. If we did groups, I see what you mean. So that's our list.
Cool.
Okay.
What you think?
I like the list. I mean, I like the nominees. I don't think you left anybody off. I've been going through them at my computer in the office, going through songs from Bizzle, going through songs from Mouthpiece.
So yeah, kind of. This is like homework. This is homework.
Yeah,
time.
you got to
the
study
list.
this.
You got to go through, listen to make sure, because you may have your favorite artist, but you probably didn't hear what Brinson did this year. I know I didn't.
Yeah.
So I got to go back and study. Got to make sure I pick wisely. Because honestly, this is not a competition thing. I know it sounds like one top 10 or whatever, but really this is honoring people who've done a good job.
Right.
That you can trust when you pick up their album and you want to give it to your friend. It's a good album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not something you got to be ashamed of. So that's all we're doing. We're just trying to tell you the cream of the crop from last year.
Yeah.
The people who didn't make the top 10 this year could make the top 10 next year if they do a project. All these artists are on our nominees list are good artists that you need to check out. So that's all we're doing this for. Is really just to get these people some good exposure so you can find out about them. That's what Line for Line's for. That's what our whole show is for.
Yeah.
So yeah, just check them out. Make sure you do your homework. So when we vote next week, send in your list. Give us your top 10s, and I promise you we'll use those when we make our top 10.
Got it.
Are y'all ready? I mean, y'all ready for it? Like, do y'all like? What's some predictions that y'all think? Is Lecrae gonna repeat?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think that BET cipher just
Yeah,
put more
that-
wind in his sails.
Yeah, that's a big plus.
I mean, he did the static selector thing. Static selector was he did like Lecrae was the only Christian rapper on it, and they did a single with Lecrae first.
But I do predict somebody like a Triple E will drop down.
Probably.
Well, yeah, because he said he was dropping down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think people will still put him high on the list, but I don't think we can.
Yeah.
It's not fair. Somebody who actually worked hard last year needs to take
I wonder is
take
Jay
his
Quest
spot.
still working on music? I
Yeah,
know
him
he's
and
senior
what's the
pastor.
name came out. Him and Breathe Easy came out with an album called Verbal Quest. It was kind of like a Watch the Throne album.
He didn't
Oh,
make the
okay.
list.
He
He didn't make the list.
didn't make the list.
Remember, you could write
Wow.
people in too. Like if
Yeah.
you like, how come y'all still disrespecting Braille
Well, we just said Brown.
or whoever? Like
Yeah.
if you need to write somebody in, write them in. If
That's legitimate.
Okay,
We gotta
'cause
go
I
back
was-
to that. Like,
I was going for Red Snapper. I was gonna write them on.
Oh.
Just gonna put them on the ballot.
No, but seriously, if there's an artist that you think is doing a really good job, contributed a lot, make sure you let us know about them. We'll check
Yeah.
them out.
I was gonna put them in the down south category. You know.
or like somebody could easily say Trey 9. Trey 9 didn't make the list.
Okay.
Okay.
So how many nominees do we have to choose from for our 10?
All of those.
All those ones I named. I don't have a number.
You don't know. Okay, you didn't write a number down.
Yeah, I was just listening to them, so I didn't write down
And
numbers.
this
I know
would
it's
be
30
listed-
plus. I think it's more than 30.
Yeah, this will be listed out so you could
Okay.
look at it and review everybody.
Yeah,
So,
man.
And when
That's
do
it.
we need to have our answer scored by?
How much time we gonna give them before we do the show? 1 week, 2 weeks?
You gonna do 2 weeks?
2
Let's
weeks.
do 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, what's today?
Today is-
15th?
Today is the
14th.
14th.
The 14th. Today is January 14th.
So the 28th.
And this video may not get up until like Tuesday. So
Yeah.
you have until what?
The 28th.
The 28th?
That's the 2 weeks from now.
All right, so you have until the January 28th to have your list. You have to either respond to the YouTube video, send us an email, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you get your list to us in time for us to do the show. We'll review your list, compare it to ours, and make sure we come up with the top 10 from last year. Remember that.
And
And we're doing it early this year, so you can't start sneaking 2012 people in
Yeah.
the list. We're doing
Let's
it early enough.
let's also give a challenge out there and say we'll read the feature list, like of one of the. If you send it in and we like your list better than we like our own, we'll read yours too.
We'll say this. If your list is close to the final list that we come up with, we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.